Good afternoon, shopkeepers and do-it-yourselfers out there in the YouTube land. Today we're working on a 2005 Dodge Durango. The ignition key would not turn the lock cylinder, and of course the steering wheel was bound all the way against it, so I had to turn it just a little bit. It still wouldn't turn, and I oiled the piss out of it, but it's got a catch. Just once in a while when you put the key in, it don't want to turn, and you have to kind of hit it inward and it'll turn. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it. I've already got it out, but I want to show you what you have to do to get the lock cylinder out. And so the bottom cover has to come off, and there are 3 screws that hold it in. There's one right here and one in each of these holes, and then it kind of just snaps in to the upper piece in these little detents right there, and then you just kind of pull this side away from the lock cylinder housing, and the other side there's your tilt control. You have to pull it off, and it pulls toward you as you're sitting in the seat. It pulls forward, and that will allow the lug that's still in there to slip through this, so you just kind of pull it sideways and drop it down off of the tilt control lever. After you take the little extension knob off of it, like I say, it just pulls forward towards you. Some of them you pull outward toward the driver door, but this one pulls towards you as you're sitting in the seat, and it's not hard to pull off. And you need a T20 Torx driver to take the screws out and that hold the bottom cover on. 2 of the screws are actually just plastic threaded screws, and the one in the middle is more of a panhead machined screw, and it goes in the middle. It goes in that hole right there. The other screw, plastic threaded screw, goes in there and right here, because they go into plastic. But this one goes in to aluminum, cast aluminum up here in the middle of the column. And anyway, when you get that off, your lock cylinder, to pull it out, where did I put the thing? There it is. To get the lock cylinder out, there's a detent that you have to push in that releases it so it will slide out. You have to turn the key about 1/4 of a turn, and that detent will push in. If the key is turned too far, it won't push in, and if the key is not turned at all, it won't push in. That's what keeps this secure in the vehicle. And it points straight down. You put the key in, turn it about it's not quite 1/4 of a turn, about 1/8 of a turn, leave the key in it, and use a small screwdriver or something and access and push that detent in. But you push it in right back in here. You push it in, and that will release that detent so you can pull it out. You might have to grab the head of the lock cylinder with a pair of pliers like that and pull out. It can be a little bit tough, but anyway, when you get the new lock cylinder, this one, I thought it was supposed to be one of them that you had to cut the code on it, but they sent me one that's got the regular old style Dodge key, and I already checked it and it does work, so we're going to put it in. So you put the key in and turn the key just a little bit so that the detent will work, will push in, and point it towards the bottom, the detent towards the bottom, and it slides right in. And then when you take the key out, then it's locked in place. And there you go. That's how you do it. And we'll pull the key out and set this up in there to put it back together. You can hear it kind of snapping into place. Well, they got to rock it over this way. Take it down off the right side. Put it over the tilt release cam, and then pull it up and put it over the tilt release first, and then come over the lock cylinder. And bring your little shifter boot down in place, and then work on aligning your top cover. You heard it snap on that side. There, it snapped together on that side, and that just kind of pushes in there. Put the back side in first. And that's how you do that. And then use your T20. Now, if you don't have a Torx driver, you don't necessarily have to go buy one. If you've got some Allen, remember that one goes in the middle hole. That one goes in the middle hole. If you don't have Torx drivers, you can use an Allen wrench. It would be a 7/64, but it has to be a long one, because to go up into that right side screw, it goes way up in there. But an Allen, a 7/64 Allen, will drive that T20. But there's enough need to have a Torx driver set, and they're not that expensive. But if you've got a set of these and you don't have a Torx driver, you can get the job done, but it has to be long enough to reach up in there in that right side, because it reaches way up in there. Well, let's see. It goes up in there that far. Was that about 2.5, almost 3 inches? Maybe 3 inches. I don't know what 3 inches is. I don't have a tape measure here. But that goes into that top cover. So that's one of the plastic threaded screws, not the machine screw. It's all the way in. You don't have to crank him down to 8,700.5 foot-pounds of torque. Just tighten it up, and when it stops turning, stop cranking. And now I got to find that other screw. And this just pushes on. It kind of snaps into place. That's how you do it, fellas. And don't throw away your original key, because it's got the fob on it for your electronic keyless remote door release, and it fits your door, the lock cylinder on your door. So anyways, thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe.